My father is a pilot, and he used to take sick people from really remote cities to the big cities.
Oh, so like an air ambulance.
Yes, that's correct.
Right.
And I love it. I love what my father does, and I wanted to get a deeper view from this area.
To this latest episode of Progress Voices, where you're going to listen to a guy called Alejandro. Alejandro was not prepared for this podcast at all when we started recording it, and I have to say, this guy is a natural talent. He stood in front of the camera, answered questions that were just coming quick fire. He wasn't expecting them, and every single answer was a gem. Now, for those of you that are watching this on YouTube, you might be saying, hey, what is going on here? Where is Nick at the moment? If you're listening, if you're streaming, I should probably explain that I'm staying in such a wonderful suite in a hotel that was paid for by a fantastic client. I really appreciate this. I'm in the great town of Dresden at the moment. If you haven't been to Dresden, do come here. It's really a fantastic place. And here I am sat on an incredibly comfortable sofa with a very red light above me. So I've got no idea how this is going to look in YouTube. For those that are watching, I hope you're enjoying the change of scene. But let's get back to Alejandro. Well, look at this. Look what I found in my hotel suite. I've got a globe. I remember when I was a kid, I loved these things and I was so jealous we didn't have one at home. And whenever we went to somebody else's house, then we found a globe. And I'd like to tell you about Alejandro because he comes from a different place on this globe to where I grew up. And it's very easy for people like me in Central Europe to say we should not do short-haul flights anymore. I mean, wouldn't it be perverse to fly from Zurich to Frankfurt? That's not necessary. We can take the train, right? And so long as you live in Switzerland, you might even have a reliable train service, but that's another story. The point is, within Central Europe, it's pretty easy to get most places by train. Maybe it takes you a little bit longer. To be honest, maybe it doesn't. And the nice thing about being on a train is you sit on one and you can start working. And so long as you do have a seat and the thing's reliable and on time, you can have a pretty nice journey. However, there are places on this globe where you can't just get on a train and move somewhere. And Alejandro's father did a very, very important job where he had to fly. That's the reason why Alejandro is also a pilot. That's the reason why he was piloting the glider that our friend Stefan SiFlA was towing into the air with the eGenius film. And that's where we did the spontaneous podcast. So I'm going to show you now on the globe. This is where Alejandro grew up. And I do hope you enjoy the podcast. If you're streaming, then you'll have to find out when you're listening to the podcast where that is. But do listen in, do give us your comments, do subscribe to our channel and tell us what kind of other podcasts you'd like to hear and what you enjoyed about this one. Let us know what we got right. Let us know what else you'd like us to do differently next time. It's communities like people like you that will really help us to keep making these Progress Voices podcasts even better. Alejandro, tell me your full name, where you come from and what you're doing here today.
My name is Alejandro Isaza Pizarro. I'm from Colombia and I'm studying at the University of Stuttgart and actually at the end of my degree, aerospace engineering. And today I'm helping Stefan with the eGenius to be able to test the autopilot with a glider.
So before we talk about the whole eGenius thing, what made you come to Stuttgart? Why did you come to Stuttgart University all the way from Colombia?
It was because of my study. My study. I wanted to study aerospace engineering and that wasn't possible in Colombia. So I needed to look for another opportunity outside the land. One of the options that I saw was Germany, and Stuttgart was one of the best universities that offered me opportunity to study.
Okay, now be very careful how you answer this question because your professors are listening, yeah? Because you're doing your bachelor's degree, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so you started right into aviation at the start of your career. Are you disappointed with the uni?
No, not at all.
I'm glad you answered like that.
I'm really happy, especially with a group, with a ACAFLIG. That's a studying group where we are able to develop, build and fly gliders. And I have learned a lot in this community.
So listen, I studied laser physics. And I spent a lot of time in very dark rooms with things flashing at me. And I realized after a few years of studying laser physics, I'm not made for research in lasers. You know, it's really cool stuff when you watch Star Wars, but researching with lasers, there are some amazing people. Some of my best friends do this for a living, but not me. But you're doing something where you're actually putting something in the air, right?
Yeah, that's great. I don't know, maybe that's one of the things that I most love of the Aquafleet, that we actually get to take the knowledge that we learned at the study and put it like into something that will fly. I'm doing right now my thesis for the end of my degree, and I'm designing and calculating the flapper runs and the Vorlaklappen in German of one of the prototypes that we are building.
So you're calculating the flapper runs? So the flap is like the flaps on a wing, right?
That's correct. It works as an aileron, but also as a flap.
Okay.
And I'm only doing like the structural part.
Okay.
And yeah, it's really interesting and fun to see that everything that we have learned may apply to the reality, and that it will be possible to build such beautiful machines.
And so listen, what's really fascinating for me, like talking to all of your buddies at Stuttgart University, there's all these different departments. And, you know, when you think about flying, you think about flying. Now, I've done projects at Airbus, and, you know, I've seen aircraft as they're being built. So I understand the general idea of the comfy seats coming at the end just before the Coca-Cola. But tell me about the different areas that you have at the university.
Oh, we have really the most diverse areas at the university, because the university also has like a space area.
Okay.
And everything's connected.
Yeah.
So you really need to have like from the inside of the plane to the outside, to the human factors, to the most humane and basal things.
And the thing I love about space travel is aerodynamics is so important on the way up, and then at some point it doesn't matter anymore. I remember there's a brilliant podcast, 13 Minutes to the Moon. I don't know if you know it.
I don't know it.
It's all about the Apollo landing, and they were saying like the guys who did the original like aircraft design for the Apollo, like the eagle that landed on the moon, like it looked like a jet fighter. Of course, it was inside a rocket until it got to the moon. And they were like, you've got the deal, but we need to start from first principles. There's no air up there, right?
Yeah, that's right. But that's also the beauty from this area, that you really need to pay attention to the details to be able to put such different machines and to optimize them to the really specific situations that you will have.
Excellent. And so when you're saying you're designing the mechanics of the flaps, so the structural side, what you're saying is the aerodynamics isn't your thing, the profile and, you know, how you get the lift. It's more about whether it's going to be strong enough with the aerodynamic forces, I guess. Oh,
that's exactly. The aerodynamic part from this project is already done. We already put a freeze on it, and we really don't want to touch it anymore.
Okay.
And now comes like the next part.
Okay.
And it's to design the structure, like the other side of the plane, to be able to realize this dream that we
turn it into reality. And so tell me, just like if you think about the next person who's studying, so you're just doing your thesis, so I guess that means you're in your final year, right? You've got about another half a year. What's the next step after that? What are you going to do then? Are you going to go and become a fireman, or maybe sell mobile phone contracts, or have you got a different plan?
I want to continue with my master's degree, also at University of Stuttgart.
In Stuttgart, you're staying there, yeah?
I'm staying.
Yeah. Is it the Greek restaurant, or is it something else?
I have heard a lot of good things from the University of Stuttgart, and I have liked what I've seen, and I want to stay there, especially the Aquafleet group.
Yeah, Aquafleet, okay.
I've met really, really great people there, and I want to stay there, and I want also to be able to take this project at which we are working right now, and to be able to bring it, hopefully to the end.
Now, before we carry on with the podcast, I'd just also like to mention again that my company Progress Factors is sponsoring these podcasts at the moment. Do go to progressfactors.com if you want to find out why we're doing this and get some more information about it. And also, if you'd like to become a sponsor of this podcast series, if you'd like your company to be mentioned for a company that really believes that we should do some good in the world, then please reach out to us. We'd love to get to know you. And at the same way, if you're working for an organization where you think there's something interesting that we should be making a podcast about, reach out to us as well. You can contact us on LinkedIn. You can contact us over our YouTube channel and just put some comments on some of the podcasts. Or you can also, of course, just go to our website, progressfactors.com. There are plenty of buttons there for get in touch, organize a demo, and all those sorts of things. It would be really great to speak to you and, to get in touch with you. And when you say the project, are we talking about the eGenius that you're helping out with today? Okay, so I'm not going to ask you about your other projects in case it's something you're not allowed to tell us about.
No,
oh, you are?
I will be happy to tell you.
Okay.
The plane is the FS-36.
Okay.
You could take a look at my back.
FS-36. Okay, fly-by-wire.
Fly-by-wire.
Does that mean you've got like a kite? You got a big long wire at the bottom? Or?
No, the idea is to be able to build the first glider that's been operated by several motors.
Yeah. So no mechanical connection between the pilot and the actual actuators, I guess. Huh?
Not really.
Yeah.
We will have a backup to be able to realize it.
Yeah.
But the idea is to be able to optimize like every stage of the flight, and that's only possible if you use a fly-by-wire system.
Yeah. And you're also probably going to save quite a lot of weight as well, right? Because you're getting rid of a lot of heavy metal connections.
Yes, but that's not like our
target.
Our target.
Yeah.
Because we actually have a water ballast on the wings to be able to make it heavier.
Okay.
The problem that we have is we optimize our wing profile to be able to fly really efficient but really fast.
For the glide, yeah, that's what's it called? The L/D, I think, or something. No? Is that right?
And the problem is we don't have a lot of space at the connection between the wing and the fuselage.
Okay.
So we really need to do it by cable.
Okay.
We had another project in our group. It was called the FS-32, and it couldn't be realized because of this problem.
Okay. All right. So I see. So that's what's stuck in. Then that's how research goes, right? And
Yes.
then you go to the next challenge and you fix the next problem, and it keeps adding up. Now, I've grown up here in Europe. I work a lot within the aviation, green sector and stuff. We're doing all these podcasts and stuff, and you're always meeting people that are saying, we shouldn't fly airplanes anymore. But you grew up in South America, and I don't know a lot about South America, I have to say. I'm not a specialist. But one thing that I've learned is without an aeroplane in South America, you're pretty stuffed, right? I think it's isolated would be the word, huh?
There are some conditions, some situations when you're only able to get fast by plane. That was also like one of the reasons why I wanted to study this type of things. My father is a pilot, and he used to take sick people from really remote cities to the big cities.
Oh, so like an air ambulance. So.
Yes, that's correct.
Right.
And I love it. I love what my father does, and I wanted to get a deeper view from this area.
Excellent. Now that's a really meaningful thing to do. And I mean, hey, hats off to your dad
Thank you.
for doing something like that. That is an amazing thing. And it's so easy to say, we should all take a train. But, right here in Germany, we won't talk about the Deutsche Bahn right now. But theoretically, you can take a train to Paris. I did it recently. But going over the Andes is a different thing. And when somebody's ill and they need an operation, it's a different thing. All right, then. Okay. Well, we're going to close up soon. But listen, we need to talk about sustainable aviation. Because having to fly is one thing, but having to fly on carbon is another thing. Is it all just greenwashing? What's your opinion? We ask everyone, do you think that we've got a chance of actually flying sustainably within our lifetimes?
I think that's a really big challenge because we have a really big infrastructure for our system right now. And to be able to change it and to especially be able to have like we have right now, that will be a long way. Okay. But I think that's the right way. We need to work towards, but it will need a lot of time and dedication.
Excellent. And if you had one wish to help sustainable aviation, if you had one thing that you could change, if you had a magic wand or you had the phone number to whoever you want to speak to, what would be your wish?
Oh, that's a really good question. Actually, I don't have an answer because this area is so big that I think everything that I would say will be not that correct.
Well, I can promise you one thing, because I'm an old man. You can have an answer in about 20 minutes time, and you're going to be thinking about your answer and changing it for the next 3 weeks, and you'll hate me in 3 weeks time. But don't worry, maybe you can post it and we'll pop it into the film afterwards if you think of something.
But one thing I could tell you, and one of the areas that we could take and get inspiration from are the gliders.
Okay.
They fly without an engine. Yeah. And I think that's like this dream. It's kind of magical.
Yeah.
And I think we could learn a lot from them.
Yeah. I bought like an email, like a website address, a URL. I think it was the late 90s. It was around the time when people got very rich because they'd registered things like 20th Century Fox and stuff like that. Anyway, and I got one and it's called useless energy. Use less energy. How much energy is useless energy? Because we could do it without a motor. You know, like we're getting a heat pump put into our house to heat the whole house. You know, it's going to be so much greener. And I think that sort of thing of saying, what can we actually save stuff on? Do we really need like an electric thing to mow our lawn, for instance? Or could we get away without it? Yeah.
I mean, the world is changing. And I need to interrupt you because that's our plane.
All right then. Okay, well, let's go and film again. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. All right, and good luck with everything, especially your thesis. So I do hope that you enjoyed today's podcast. I do hope you like our new design if you're watching this on YouTube. If you aren't, please pop over to YouTube, have a look at the new design. Also, go to our website, have a look at the new website, and please give us your feedback. It's always great to hear your feedback, and we'd really like to hear some more from you. I do hope you'll keep tuning in. I'm certainly looking forward to sharing some more podcasts with you about all sorts of different sustainability topics that are coming up over the following weeks and months. This is so much fun. It's so motivating. Please keep interacting. Thanks a lot, and see you again soon.